Hello everyone, I'm your host, Boss Zombie. Welcome back to the Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road. Speaking of the road, let's get back on it and keep heading north.
Come, little ones. Whisper to me the secrets of the green. Greetings, wanderer.
Oh, the fortune teller lady. Right, I spoke to her before. She's weird. But interesting, but weird. Bear. Wait, oh no, that's a quest marker. I imagine the next thing we'll see is up for... what is it called? Wendir. Oh wait, point of interest. How come it doesn't do the thing anymore where it, like... okay, Elf Beta the Shy. There's... wow, she's in a lot of places. Okay, we're close enough. This has to be for this place.
Oh, my dear Narcissus Dren, what has happened to
Narcissus Dren!
It's you! Good fortune for all of us. Narcissus Dren will be most pleased if you're the one to help him.
Why are you so concerned about his safety?
The noted explorer Narcissus Dren has gone to investigate the ruins of Wendir, and I fear he may be in trouble. He left some time ago to procure an Ayleid relic, the emblem of the last king. Could you go and help him? He will reward your efforts.
What do you need me to do?
Find Narcissus and help him recover the emblem from Wendir. Here, let me mark it on your map. He had some Wood Elf allies, but I do not trust them. My dear Narcissus is brilliant but impulsive, and needs someone to protect him from his own enthusiasm.
I'll go find him.
I can tell you a little about the area.
I don't remember this lady.
Full information on the task ahead should come from Narcissus Dren himself. Please, go seek him out.
I guess I met her before with Narcissus Dren stuff. Was it the bottle quest? Did I meet her there, or was it the one in Vardenfell? I don't remember. Good to see you again, I guess.
Yes, Vardenfell, wasn't it? I
God,
feel
that was
no
right when
at ease knowing I can entrust Narcissus' well-being to a friendly, sympathetic soul.
Goodness, that would mean I haven't seen her since I started playing this game, because Vardenfell was the first thing I did. And that was, I don't know, 2018? How have you fared since then?
Nary a day passes when he is not off on some new adventure. I admire that in him. Always eager to move on to the next challenge, to the next wondrous historical site. I sometimes wish he would settle down. But life with him is always exciting.
He certainly keeps busy.
I can tell you a little about the area, but I'm afraid full information on the task ahead should come from Narcissus Dren himself. Please, go seek him out.
Tell me more about Wendir.
The ancient elves that ruled before the Empire built keeps, crypts, and fortifications throughout the land. This was one of the last of them before their kingdoms fell. Now, all are in ruins, overrun by monsters and rogues.
Sounds dangerous.
Yes, but dear Narcissus lives for that type of adventure. That is why he needs someone to help him in his adversity, to help rein in his enthusiasm.
Good thing he has you.
I can tell you a little about the area.
I got it. Thank you, Elf Beta.
Hush! Can't you see I'm busy blending into my surroundings?
Good to see you again, Narcissus. I heard you could use some help.
Ah, yes. I remember you. Still looking for honest work, I see. No matter. I am glad to take you under my wing once more in this endeavor.
Tell me what you're doing here.
I was exploring these Ayleid ruins, looking for the emblem of the last king, when my associates suddenly turned on me and threw me out.
What associates?
They're called the Recollection. I mentioned to them that the symbol of King Dainar, last of the Ayleid kings, could be found here. I never expected that they would betray me. But you're going to help me, aren't you?
Of course.
We must search these surface ruins for two types of things. My own irreplaceable notes, and any information of the Recollection's doings. Those Wood Elves must have some papers about here. Mission orders, reports, or correspondence.
At least I didn't stick you in a bottle this time.
Ah, yes, the case of the Male Moth Mysterium. You'd be surprised how often that sort of thing happens in this line of work.
Keeps things interesting.
We must search these
Okay.
surface ruins.
Tell me more about what happened.
I should never have mentioned the emblem of the last king to the recollection. They sent a large contingent of helpers and drove me off. The emblem was part of the regalia of the last Ayleid king, Lelorian Dinar. You know about King Dinar?
We have met.
What? Really? You don't look that ancient. But then you know that when the last kingdom of the High Elves fell, its people and treasures were scattered. The emblem was a symbol of King Dinar's reign and an important Ayleid treasure.
That's why you've come to Windir?
Indeed. I'd heard tales that the last king's 5 devoted retainers gathered here prior to his demise. The emblem of the last king is sure to be here, protected by the traps set by these 5 loyal retainers.
Okay. So just fight more recollection. Got it. Nothing so far.
I can't believe they're complaining about me. Me! After all I did for them. Fine. Be that way.
What an excellent... See, I was complaining before that some of the voice acting seemed phoned in for some of the other NPCs so far, but he does not disappoint. Might as well, just in case it has ink, right? I hear someone hitting with a pickaxe. He's a bit,
Ah, excellent. My notes on the 5 loyal retainers. You know, it would do you well to study these notes. They might come in handy someday.
Halror. Vashabar, but
Read this! They say I prattle. I don't prattle. I offer my wisdom calmly and reasonably. And they should have been grateful.
he's a fun character. Okay, now where's the last thing? Perhaps this way? Oh, no. I don't like fighting minotaurs. Where's his last notes? He already came this way. Anything over here, perhaps? No. Did that thing just immediately respawn? What? Oh no, that was on the other side. Okay. He walked. Oh, there it is. Good thing I stopped for this runestone. And this ore. And this ore, I said. And this runestone. Alright, I think I don't need it. I shouldn't keep doing this. It's going to be too silly. There's his Dren.
Let's head into the catacombs beneath these ruins to sort through what we found, away from this rabble.
This person's being chased by a minotaur. Windir. An Ayleid ruin west of Cyrodiil. The underground halls of Windir were believed to have served as a refuge.
Come here, assistant. Let's take a better look at those documents. Let me see those papers we gathered. Ah, I see. The recollection found an altar but could go no farther. Sounds magical. There's mention of finding vials of blood, some sacred water, and a bottle of ancient wine. Yes, yes, those are our keys.
Do the reports mention anything else?
It seems my former allies are not doing well without me. Petrification traps, locked doors, giant living statues, that peculiar altar. Typical novice stuff. Nothing that would challenge a master of his craft such as myself.
Living statues?
Animated stonework. Doesn't surprise me. They don't require much upkeep. But this altar, alien design, so it will need some liquid to activate it. They have the keys but have no clue how to use them.
What needs to be done?
We press on. The renowned Narcissus Dren is not deterred by mundane challenges. Let's find this altar they mentioned, and keep your eyes out for any bottles, vials, or carafes they have excavated.
I have more questions.
The hunt is on, faithful assistant. With those notes, it's clear that the recollection is stymied by that altar. I, of course, know how to activate it. We'll need a vial of blood, some sacred water, and/or wine from the things they've dug up.
The recollection doesn't like you very much.
I did say we parted ways. Surely you, as an aspiring explorer yourself, should have caught the nuance. I'm of no obligation to be forthright with the specifics of how all parties came to be here at Windir.
Tell me more about the recollection.
The recollection is a group of wood elf cultists. The Ayleid were their ancestors, or so they believe, and so they seek out treasures of the past. I heard they may also be trying to conquer Westweald, but I attempt to avoid politics when I can.
Why would you get involved with cultists?
I needed some willing hands, and they were eager to help. Little did I imagine that they would desire the emblem more than I. Feel free to read my notes, though be warned, they are not on par with the quality of my published works.
Understood.
The hunt is on,
Okay,
faithful
are all
assistant.
your expeditions is interesting?
This is a walk in the park, a stroll through the meadows. I've diced with Daedra and fled before undead hordes. There's nothing here we can't handle, and by we, I mean you.
I see.
Heed my sage advice, assistant, and there will be no problems at all. You might even learn something.
I'll do that.
The hunt is
Okay,
on.
stop saying stuff about the hunt. I got it.
Something was off about the Dark Elf expert. Sneaky-looking cur.
We've lost so many to the traps. Had that fool warned us about them, Givens would have never been petrified.
A damn shame about that. They're like running away so I don't engage them in combat. They were just there for the dialogue delivery. Oh, they're gone. They had them accelerate so they would get away. Oh, are gargoyles the living statues?
Hush, assistant. Do you see that ahead? Is that one of the recollection's own? Turned to stone?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Isn't this nice, assistant? You get to walk through a ruin like this with none other than myself, Narcissus Dren, as your guide. Over there. What's on that stone table?
A vial of blood.
I have my own theories as to why such ancient blood would be fresh. Alas, the recollection had no interest in my musings.
Oh, they did an excellent job of setting up a mine track in here. Ooh, these are... Hold on a second. These alien chandeliers are awesome looking. I wonder why they didn't add... I know there's a few alien stuff you can get as antiquities, but nothing you can craft. So maybe they're saving for like luxury
Allow
stuff.
me to enlighten you, assistant.
Or Crown Store.
Keep an eye out for Daedric symbology. The Ayleids worshipped the Daedra and were destroyed by Daedra haters. You can take notes if you need to.
I didn't know the aliens were big on gargoyles.
Assistant, have I ever regaled you with my research on ancestral tombs in Vardenfell? It would only take a few hours.
I mean, I was there for one of them. I don't remember it, though.
is this? Assistant! Don't you have anything to say about getting me caught up in this noxious mist? You were the one to trip the trap.
Is he gonna get turned to stone?
Oh, hello. Another of our recollection friends, eh? He stepped on that grate too, I see, with more permanent results. A shame he isn't as skillful and dexterous as I. This could have been me mere moments ago. Thank the gods for my quick reflexes. Best be on our way. Keep an eye out for these grates if you would, Assistant.
Will do.
Where is it now? Aha! Assistant! Here we are. The sacred water, drawn from a spring in the very heart. Look at all this mess! Oh! The recollection has no regard for proper excavation procedures. Elf Better, my usual assistant, would be shocked by such disarray.
Okay. I really don't think they care, Narcissus. I really don't. I think this is fun.
Did you know that Wendir means journey in Alien? It could mean a journey into the afterlife, or some other destination for the ancient elves. It's amazing what you can learn from me.
See, there's like two facets of quests, I guess. There's this kind, where... I was just searching my room. Where it's like mostly combat driven, progress through an area. And then there's this stuff, it's a lot more rare, but the stuff like Mizzix's quest we just did. Where it's like, you kind of solve a mystery, or you like investigate something. That's a cool statue.
Majestic! Oh, how I'd love to know how they carved these wings.
I want to get a better look at it. Oh, it's this statue. They've released this before in multiple forms. I have a little version from ESO Plus. Oh. They're just called golems. Okay. You don't see a lot of things called golems in the Elder Scrolls. Okay. This person just can't be bothered, I guess. I've never been clear on how to pronounce golem. These are nice. Are these are Somerset dressers or wardrobes, but they're different. They're a little different. I was gonna say they look like they just added a marble texture instead of a wood one. They are a little different. Oh. Why can't I look at this? But golem, I mean, it's derived from Hebrew, isn't it? So wouldn't it be golem?
There's our altar. Note the 3 bowls. We need to put all 3 items on the altar, then anoint it with the proper liquid. Come, let's make haste in finding all of them.
I'm working on it. Hey, look, another set piece. Hall of the Loyal Retainers.
3 of the loyal retainers. Stand back, Assistant. I'll speak their names and command them. Lorimaro, Parhalia, Balepalin, Yonvarla, and, hang on. I don't know that last name. No, wait!
Lore Amero. Are these the actual guys or just Greek likenesses of them? Nice kicks, dude. It's like that one boss from the Silver Rose place. Balapin the Boisterous. Do you also kick, or you just prefer fiery swords? Oh, the other one's awake. No, you don't have a fancy title? Parhalia. Okay, interesting.
There we are. Now to return to the altar. I'll go ahead and dust myself off a bit from the battle. Take the wine on your way out. We'll be needing that.
Aromatic wine.
The contents of this bottle, they've been partially used? Have they been drinking on the job?
I'd be more concerned of drinking super ancient magic wine. That seems dangerous. And then they operate heavy machinery on top of that?
Assistant.
Shame, shame, shame. Alright, that's the thing, if you get close it zaps you, right?
Thanks to my dazzling intellect, I have deduced that we should anoint the altar with sacred water. Assistant, apply the sacred water.
Why do you think it's water?
Simple. Sacred water goes on an altar. It's quite obvious. Any fool would see that.
Couldn't it be any of the other items?
When you have been at this as long as I have, you develop a sixth sense for these things. Place all 3 items on the altar, but we will use the sacred water. Trust me.
Okay.
If you would place all 3 items that we collected onto the altar, we can proceed. And now, anoint the altar with the sacred water. With this, our way is opened. Here we are. Pour what we found into that altar's basin. It is an altar. We should feed it sacred water. Anything else would be disrespectful to the sanctity of this piece of Ayleid history.
I'm gonna go with the wine.
That did it!
Oh, I was right.
Just as I predicted. A tribute to the wine shared between the retainers upon their arrival. Good job following my instructions, Assistant.
Oh.
I'll make an explorer of you yet.
I was kind of thinking it could be the wine, because that seemed more of a like something you used for a sacred ritual than water. But I was kind of hoping it would be wrong as to see what would happen, because there's usually funny consequences, that kind of thing with him. Oh, big fight. Oh, is this the unnamed assistant or something?
And here we are, the
Oh.
emblem. But it is sealed away by magic. Surely these tiles, pressed in correct sequence, will remove the warding spells on it. That carving looks important. It is some form of epitaph to the 5 loyal retainers. I'd venture it's crucial to releasing the emblem of the last king.
Have you seen something like this before?
But of course. You'd be a fool to think that a treasure hunter as respectable as myself would have no experience with a simple tile puzzle.
I mean, doesn't this remind you of what we encountered in Veloth Tomb?
You know, it does seem quite reminiscent of that. The tiles are the same, but if I recall correctly, Veloth's solution was on the walls. Perhaps the solution to this one can be found within this epitaph.
So you can solve it then?
I could, but let's think of this as a teachable moment. A final examination, so to speak. You should work this one out on your own. I'll be here to supervise.
Fine.
Narcissus Dren is no stranger to a puzzle, but can his assistant exhibit the same prowess? Let's wait and see. Go on now. Read that epitaph.
King Darnar's 5 loyal retainers remain ever vigilant after walking the path of emblem. Amiro started in extreme west, writing east for 4 nights. Okay, west, point, east 4, north 3, west 2, and then 1. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1, that's easy. East, north, west, north. Okay, so
Give it your all.
1.
I'll be here for the point at which you undoubtedly will need my consult.
Oh. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1.
You certainly took your time. The path is now clear, and the emblem of the
Ooh.
last king calls to me.
That's a cool looking
Come.
staff.
Look at it. It's marvelous. Floating there, just waiting to be taken. Any final notes, Assistant, before I commit history?
I'll tell him to be careful.
Now, Assistant, we have found the emblem of the last king. It's been waiting so long for me to recover it.
What are you doing?
Step aside, assistant. The great and wise Narcissus Dren will now seize the emblem. I intend to present it to my assistant Elfbeta at her southern camp. Yes, that sounds sufficiently thrilling.
Hang on, the grate looks like those earlier traps. There may be a mechanism to disarm it.
Fool of an assistant! Do not disturb me, or I'll have you demoted to a footnote in my next book. You stumbled through much, and now your reward is to watch me finally grasp the emblem of the last king.
Narcissus, wait!
The emblem at last.
Oh, he's about to be stoned. Okay.
Bested those recollection fools. No! A trap! It's that petrification gas! Take the emblem to Elfbeta! I...
Can I not help him? I mean, he'll be fine, I'm sure, but... That was actually an impressive animation for this game. And I'm gonna tell her, oh, he got petrified. She's like, oh, it happens all the time. I'll go fix him. I'm sure that's how it's gonna go. Whee! Man, that's an impractical way to exit. Ooh, it's actually sunset? I don't know that I've been playing this yet while it was sunset in the world. This is beautiful. Ugh. The aesthetic.
Ah, there you are. I was beginning to get worried.
Man, I really don't remember her. I'll have to read up on that original quest she was in.
My dear Narcissus is always overflowing with tales of his discoveries. I find myself impatient, waiting to hear about them.
Here you go. Emblem of the Last King.
Ah, the emblem! Excellent. And Narcissus? Oh, he'll be along soon, I expect. My dear Narcissus is always getting stuck somewhere. Here you go. I think this should cover your time and effort. Thank you. I need to take my leave shortly. Narcissus should turn up any time now. Perhaps I should go looking for him. In any event, thank you for your help.
Good to see you again.
Yes!
Okay, so that's all the same.
I need to take
Narcissus is
my leave
otherwise
shortly.
indisposed. Send me
Narcissus should
ahead to
turn up
deliver
any
the
time
emblem.
now. Oh dear. Should I wait here? Should we go after him? I don't want him to
What
think
is this
I don't
dialogue?
need constant oversight, but he does get so wrapped up in his work.
He's studying statues right now. Couldn't budge him. We should go on without him.
Ever the thoughtful scholar, my Narcissus. Very well, I shall do as you say. Is there anything else I may do for you before I take my leave?
It was a pleasure to work with you, Elfbeta.
I need to take my leave shortly. Narcissus should turn up any time now.
Okay,
Perhaps I should go looking
Narcissus
for him.
Dren is an interesting
In any
person to
event,
work with.
Thank you for your help. Is he not masterful? Wise, kind, and thoughtful, and so daring. This emblem that you've returned with is simply fascinating. I'll begin cataloging it while I wait for him to return.
He may be a while.
I understand. Sometimes he gets so involved I have to drag him away. Knowledge and research always come first for Narcissus. He's a rock-solid scholar.
Rock solid. That's one way of putting it.
I need to take my
Okay.
leave shortly.
That was fun. That was a worm mouth. I don't understand how they haven't made a pet version of one of these things yet. It seems like an easy one. I'm sure there's a few interesting folks that would like a worm mouth pet. I don't like the implications of their name, and I don't really want to understand why it's called that, but it's a little creature called a worm mouth. Okay, so it's probably not. I imagine the vineyards up there. Oh, okay. That seems incorrect. She's supposed to stop she's supposed to stop spawning on the road once you've completed, or at least started the quest. That's not typically how it works. Bristlebacks, not razor tusk, different thing. Oh, what is this? A thieves' trove for me? I don't need the rest of this. Actually, no. I should take it. So that Just in case someone... I wonder if you can have... If luminous ink... I don't think it can. It can't be... See, that's something... Okay. You're going to be a little rant here. The Indrik... This is describing stuff. When you clear the Indrik stuff, you get the ability to have enemies drop luminous ink. When you finish the Netch's stuff, you gain the ability to have resource nodes drop ink. But the Griffin and Dragon don't have anything that unlocks. I think they should have had the Griffin, yeah. When you complete a quest,
Come, little one.
you should have a chance to get
Listen
luminous
me the
ink.
secrets of the green.
And the Dragon, when you complete that one, should give you a chance to find luminous ink whenever you open a treasure chest of any kind. Well, then I think people would probably just resort to... Okay, I don't think there's anything else up here, just in case. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. But, I guess people would just farm dolmens then. Trapper's Note. What is this thing? Adolescent Guzzard. If you happen to find something in my snare, I can make it worth your while to help me instead of stealing my catch. My friend, Stargazer Serana, helped me capture an adolescent Guzzard for her. She finds the naked things endearing because they remind her of her home back in Craglorn. Now she wants to raise one by hand as a pet. She's a dear friend, but I'll never understand her love for the wretched creatures. Hopefully my trap was effective and the poor bugger hasn't been stuck here for too long. Soraya is waiting outside Stone Chip Tavern in Ontis. If you deliver her new companion safely to her, she'll see you paid for your efforts. Trapper Marcian. Okay, and this is Mini Menagerie. Let's just clear that off. Is that what these creatures are called? I never knew. They're kind of just like things you just couldn't interact with. Ontis is way over there. Okay. It's good it decided to come all the way up here. Although maybe... I wonder... Is this a quest that you can only start from here? Or is that just one point of start? Or... I guess point of entry, really. Oh, wait. Is this going to be the one where you have to go find critters out in the wild? Like, the multi-go find things quest? I wonder. Oh, wait. Why would I go... I went right past the Way Shrine. Wait. There. Constable seeks deputy. Okay, so that's Ontis stuff. We'll do that once we get over here. But we're not here yet, so I'm not going to. Stargazer Soraya. Oh, a little mannequin, or a little puppet guy you can dance with. Very interesting.
What do you have there, traveler? Something is rustling about in your bag like a fell runner on fire.
I've got an adolescent Guzzard and a note from a trapper to deliver to you.
Oh, thank you. Just look at this little darling. I always wanted to raise a Guzzard by hand. I'd almost given up on Marcian. I should have known they'd find a way to finish the job. Please, take this for your trouble.
But where are they?
Look at the wings on this little Guzzard. They're so tiny, and the skin is so pink. The Guzzards back in Craglorn were never this cute. I'm still waiting on 2 other quarries from Marcian. If you find them, I'd gladly pay you for the extra help.
What did you ask Marcian to trap?
I asked them to trap some Guzzards for me as pets, an adolescent and an adult. They remind me of my home back in Craglorn. I also lost my dear pet wormmouth, Verzidu, on the journey here. If anyone can bring these creatures to me, it's Marcian.
Okay, so I'm looking for another Guzzard. Oh! Man, you're ugly. But cute in a way. That spine is insane. Okay, so I'm looking for another Guzzard out in the wild. So it is the thing I thought, where it's like... There's just stuff out in the wilderness you have to find and bring to her. That's fine. So that basically takes off 3 quests, because they're not really... They're just like objectives to find and then bring back. That's fine though. Okay. So let's head over here and head west and see what this vineyard's about. Oh, it's Fëanorian, right? I remember passing him.
What would Count Verandis do in this situation?
Well, probably some kind of ancient, obscure magic, but we'll have to settle for what we can do.
Fancy meeting you here, friend. I hope you're not here for the auction at the Valente Vineyards. I'm certain the event bodes ill, but I'm reluctant to enter that nest of vipers alone. Would you be willing to join me? For ample compensation, of course.
Well, considering you're a vampire and you tend to go after vampire stuff, I'm guessing it's vampire related, but what kind of trouble do you expect?
It isn't just any auction. It's run by and for vampires. Being a vampire myself, I can't help but wonder why Lord Gallio Valente, vineyard owner and vampire coven leader, wants to sell wine to other vampires. It's not like we partake of the stuff.
So you were invited?
Not exactly. I was hunting a violent vampire gang called the Terrors when I found an invitation to the auction. Inviting vampires to such an event is strange enough, but offering this Vesper Valente vintage? That has me concerned. Will you help me?
Yes.
First, let's look around the vineyard. I want to examine the grapes they grow here. Besides, it's a good idea to get a feel for the grounds before we head into the auction. Never fear. This is exactly what House Ravenwatch trained me for.
What do you know about the... Well, hold on. What have you been up to?
Oh, the usual. Advancing my studies, investigating for House Ravenwatch. I must say, I do like Westwield's climate. Much less damp and chilly than what we have over in Rivenspire. I will tell Adusa and Gwendis I ran into you, though.
Tell me about House Ravenwatch.
We're one of the noble houses of Rivenspire that just happens to be a coven of vampires. But we're good vampires. We only drink from willing donors and never to excess. Our mission is to hunt and put down the more ravenous examples of our kind.
What do you know about the vineyard and winery?
It's been in the Valente family for generations. From what I was able to ascertain, Lord Valente inherited the place about a year ago. Seems he returned from a long trip and his father suddenly fell ill and died. Now the place is under his control.
And Gallio Valente is a vampire?
According to the invitation I found, yes. And not just any vampire. He's the leader of a powerful coven, which is why this whole affair concerns me. Ravenwatch has never heard of this coven or Valente before. And a wine auction? It makes no sense.
Tell me more about the invitation you found.
As I said, I was trying to pick up the trail of the Terrors. Violent vampires that were last seen heading toward the Weald when I found the invitation. Another troublesome vampire I was forced to deal with had it among his possessions.
Why did the invitation make you suspicious?
You mean besides the fact that it was addressed to a dangerous vampire, and supposedly invited them to an auction they have absolutely no reason to be interested in? When things appear to make no sense, I feel obliged to find clarity.
Okay, let's check it out. Isn't this... Yeah, you can buy a house right near here. The Maryvine Estate. I hope this clears... Oh, Death Hounds. I hope this kind of clears out the area. Ooh, treasure chest. So that if when I get that house, which I think you need to do the Master Adventure. Oh, I should try to get that before the event is over so I can get it cheaper. But, yeah. I hope clearing this out makes it easier to get out of there.
An injured field hand. Let's find out what happened.
Drovir.
This is no place to wander aimlessly, traveler. The foul beasts are vicious and hungry for blood.
Foul beasts?
Ugliest hounds Drovir has ever seen. This one just finished checking the new grapes and was on his way to the auction when it came out of nowhere. Ripped up Drovir's leg real good.
Lord Valente invited his servants to attend the auction?
Drovir thought the request was strange too, but Lord Valente insisted, and Lady Valente specifically told Sentry Helvius to let the servants in, even if we didn't have the fancy invitations. If you're here for the auction, you should head inside.
Well, can you tell me about Lord Gallio Valente?
He came back from his travels different. Even his father was concerned about the changes in his beloved son. But shortly after young Gallio returned, his father fell ill and died. Gallio inherited the vineyard, the title, and all that entailed.
What can you tell us about the auction?
Just that he invited some important guests. He's been working on the new grapes for a special vintage since he returned, and he's very proud of it. Says it's going to make him even more rich and powerful. Can that be possible? This one is unsure.
You mentioned a new kind of grape?
Lord Valente developed the new seeds in his alchemical laboratory under the manor. They grow thorny vines that bear a crimson grape unlike anything Drovir has ever seen before. Once the first vintage was ready, Lord Valente set up this auction.
Blood grapes? Interesting. Tell me more about Lady Valente.
Lord Valente's new wife, a high elf with a name too complicated for this one's Khajiit tongue. Drovir believes they met during young Gallio's time away. But what does this old field hand know of such things?
Is there anything unusual about them?
Unusual? Well, this one does not like to talk out of turn, but Drovir hears that Lady Valente wants to be more involved in running the vineyard, but Lord Valente refuses to include her. This one wonders why he even married her.
Interesting. So he grows blood grapes. That's a new one.
Let's look more closely at those grapes. The scent wafting off those grapes. It's tantalizing.
Oh, that's not good. What does it say? Grapes grown in Valente Vineyard are large and display a deep crimson hue unlike any other grapes you've ever seen. Another chest. Man, I guess it's lucky I'm doing all this while people are still doing all the scribing stuff, I guess. Probably chasing after the... I got the painting I wanted most!
It appears the grapes did not agree with this death hound.
Well, that's still grapes and they're still
Curious.
dogs,
Let's talk.
right?
Just as Count Ferrandis taught me.
I can't believe I got the
There is
painting I
always
wanted.
something to learn if you simply pay attention. The field hand was attacked by a death hound, a sure indication of vampiric activity. And he provided a wealth of information. Don't you agree?
You mean about Lord Gallo Valente, Lady Valente, and the new grapes?
So you were listening. Good. The field hand described Gallio as different when he returned. He developed a new grape to make him richer and more powerful, and he recently married a high elf, but the marriage already seems troubled.
What do you think of the grapes and the dead death hound?
The grapes were developed using alchemy. They've been infused with blood, and I find the aroma tantalizing. But I dare not try one. Look what consuming the grapes did to the death hound. Our next step is to attend the auction. You shall be my guest.
Won't they notice that I'm not a vampire?
The field hand assumed you were a guest of the auction, and the invitation did say to bring my most favored mortal servant. If anyone asks, you're the blood servant of Master Bogvir, the vampire I shall pretend to be and whose invitation I carry.
Alright, let's head into the auction.
The invitation indicates we're to head to the walled garden just east of the manor. I suppose that's where they're letting the guests gather prior to the start of the auction. Shall we proceed?
Does the invitation tell us anything else about what to expect?
Let's see. It promises an evening in the beautiful Colovian countryside, majestic views, new and innovative cultivation, a new vintage called Vesper Valente, the auction. Ah, yes. And this. Who says wine doesn't belong in a flask?
What is that supposed to mean?
I could be reading into things, but in some vampire circles, flask is used as a crude term to refer to a blood servant. Someone who willingly lets vampires feed on them, usually for compensation.
And you mentioned that the invitation specifically suggested vampires bring their servants?
Indeed. Though the vampire I acquired this invitation from wasn't the sort to rely on blood servants. He was extremely cruel. Preferred the thrill of the hunt and drank to kill. This event becomes stranger the more I try to make sense of it.
Okay. Well then I gotta just... Yeah! I wonder how big it is. Because some of these... I remember looking at the PTS video. Some of these paintings are absolutely gigantic. Maybe when we finish this quest, I'll go hang it up and see how it looks. Ooh, I'm excited. I can't believe I got the one I wanted most.
Halt! Your invitation, please.
Sentry Helvius.
Right. Here you are.
Welcome, Master Bogvir and guest. I'll escort you to Lord Valente, this way.
Totally unnecessary. I'll find him. Thanks.
That's Master Bogvir. Not what I expected. You should follow your master and guest.
Okay. You don't seem to be a vampire, though. Ooh, look at
Just
these
a moment.
grounds.
Let's talk first.
Those are... What's going on there? It's beautiful. Why is everything so purple in here? Oh, the mirrors are all cracked. Interesting.
So, do I look like a Master Bogvir? Probably not. But we work with the tools we're given. Let's split up and mingle. Talk to servants, guests, whoever's willing to chat.
What are we trying to learn?
Anything that can tell us the true purpose of this auction. Vampires don't need wine, especially made from grapes that apparently poisoned a deathhound. Try not to come off as too curious, though. We're supposed to be guests here, after all.
Are you going to question people, too?
I am. But as soon as we walked in, I was hit with sudden pangs of hunger. Not unlike when I smelled those grapes, but much stronger. Luckily, I carry a flask of blood for times of need. I'll just find an out-of-the-way spot to take a sip.
Okay.
Can I offer you a glass of our new Vesper Valente?
Certainly. I'm very curious about this wine.
Really? You're the first of Lord Valente's guests to
Didn't you
accept
just
the
say I
wine.
wasn't going to drink
I
it?
hope you enjoy it. I'd offer you a glass, but your friend just took the last one. I wasn't expecting that. None of the other guests I've served this evening even tried it. Only their attendants and servants.
Isn't this the wine that the guests have come to bid on at the auction?
It is. The vineyard's latest vintage, Vesper Valente. Lord Valente did tell us that his guests probably wouldn't want to try it before the auction, but that I should freely provide it to their attendants and servants.
So, is it you give the wine to people you want to suck the blood of, and it makes the blood better? Have you tried the wine? What does it taste like?
I have. Lord Valente was generous enough to let all the vineyard workers and servants have a glass before the guests arrived. It was salty and crisp, with a slight metallic aftertaste. Something to do with Lord Valente's alchemical process, I think.
Interesting. Look at the spread. Hey, we don't have a... I don't think this is a thing we can get, a fish meal like that. Maybe. Although it looks like a Telvanni bowl, so I don't know. Lord Farid at Malik.
You there! I am bored, and my hounds are hungry. Will the auction start soon, or must we continue this Colovian dance of manners and pleasantries while my gold sits unspent?
I'm not sure when the auction will begin.
Apologies. I mistook you for a Valente servant. Lord Valente is clever, and if the wine accomplishes a fraction of what he claims, the waiting will have been worth it. But I would prefer to simply buy what I want, and not deal with an auction.
Remind me, what's so special about it?
Haven't you tried it yet? You really must sample the vintage for yourself. I suggest you find a glass quickly, before the auction begins. All of the servants and attendants must have that wine flowing through their veins for the main event.
Right, enjoy the party. That's foreboding.
Is this Vesper Valente really as
Lord
special as it
Ratas,
sounds?
Lady Mabin.
Oh, Lord Valente is certainly proud of his new creation.
Wouldn't that be something?
Scary. These are beautiful dressers. Oh, the man in charge. Wow, you certainly don't look like a vampire.
Ah, welcome. I'm Lord Galio Valente, the humble proprietor of Valente Vineyards and Winery. You, however, have me at a disadvantage. I do not believe we've met. Which of my acquaintances decided to bring you along as their guest today?
Master Bogvir.
Bogvir, of course. Where is my old friend? Still upset about that little incident? No matter. I was hoping to clear things up before the auction got underway. Send him over to talk to me the next time you see him.
He's mingling, but I can pass along a message if you want.
Oh, don't trouble yourself. Any guest of Bogvir's is welcome. Enjoy yourself, and do make sure to try the wine.
Okay, well, it's not good that the person we're pretending to be knows this guy.
I must prepare for the auction.
Are we going to meet the lady? Lady Orsilia Valente. You don't seem to be a vampire. Or if you are, you're very good at masking it.
Another one of my husband's guests. No, you're either an attendant or a servant, I'd wager. Who brought you to my husband's little affair? Pray tell.
Master Bogvir.
Master Bogvir? Is that the name he uses now? You know, he bears a striking resemblance to an old acquaintance of mine. In fact, I'm sure of it. How is Fenorian? And why has he come to Valente Vineyard?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No? And why don't I believe you? No, don't worry. I have no desire to reveal Fenorian's deception to my husband. Not before I learn what's going on here, the same as you. Be so kind as to let Fenorian know I'd like to speak to him when he's free.
Okay. Interesting. Good guy, perhaps? Good lady? Well... Ooh. Those are honeycombs. Look at them.
This wine is specifically meant for the mortals here, not the vampires. So why are the vampires bidding on it? And why is my flask doing little to curb my rising hunger? Tell me you learned something more, my friend.
Lord Valente's wife is Orsilia Valente. She seems to know you and wants to talk to you.
I'm sorry? Did you say Lady Valente's name is Ursilia? Oh, she's that Ursilia.
What?
Should we leave? Maybe we can sneak out the way we came in.
She seems as interested in finding out what your husband is up to as you are.
Right, right. We do need to figure out what's going on here. All right, I'll stay and talk to Ursilia. You head into the manor and see if you can find Lord Valente's office. Something in there might tell us more about the purpose of this wine.
How does she know you?
That's a story for another time, friend. Let's stay focused. You see what you can find in the manor, while I talk to Lady Valente.
Okay.
Don't worry. We can talk more later. In the meantime, go and search Lord Valente's office. He must have one inside the manor.
What should I be looking for?
Ledgers, journals, letters, alchemical notebooks. Anything that gives us some idea of Lord Galio Valente's plans for the wine. Vampires can't drink it, but they're the ones invited to bid on it. We need to know why.
Okay. Oh, he's not going to go over and talk? Interesting. A past flame, perhaps? Unlikely. I want it to happen at least once on recording that I find luminous ink and something I harvest. More paintings that I want. Bogvir. First, you recruit my own vampires away from me, offering false promises and so-called. You want me to bid on the very... Here's my thought. I'm inclined to take a case or two off your hands, but if you expect me to pay for it, yeah. 2 cases of wine for me at the auction. Interesting. Okay, the key. Why did I ever agree to marry that woman? Yes, she comes with impressive fortune and certainly uses the money, but she's annoyingly curious and wants to be an actual part in this marriage. That's not how I want to do things. Okay. Okay, let's read this. While a vampire can't consume the elixir made from the mushrooms grown in vampire blood directly and survive long enough to reap the benefits, if the elixir is funneled through an intermediary, we receive the power without any of the poison's effects. While filling the elixir in a solution of wine fermented from my alchemically prepared grapes, seed grown in soil enriched with the mushrooms, the wine can then be consumed by a non-vampire. This allows us to feed off the non-vampire fortified with the wine, and therefore receive the benefits of the elixir. The fact that we need to totally consume the vessel containing the wine is unfortunate, but acceptable. The grapes give off a scent that makes vampires ravenous. At least 2 of my new clan defied my orders and consumed handfuls of the first harvest. They died horribly. Oh, that's not great.
You again? What are you doing in my husband's office?
Hey, so he's an evil vampire. How much of that do you know?
You and Fenorian. Never in the right place at the right time. So, did you find what you were looking for? Share it with me, and maybe I won't call down to the winery for my husband's army of mercenaries.
Well, he's a vampire. His wine makes vampires more powerful, but only when consumed from a mortal.
Let me see that journal. By the stars. He killed
Oh, you're
his
real
own
oblivious,
father,
lady.
and he plans to kill me. Oh, he's a cretin and a monster. And yes, pouring wine into people just so you can eat them and gain unnatural power is pretty bad too. Damn it! I drank the wine!
You didn't know he was a vampire?
I suspected something was amiss. Since I arrived, we haven't consummated our marriage, and he spends his time down in the winery, locked in his alchemy laboratory with his mercenaries. Plus, he covets my family's fortune. But a vampire makes sense.
So what now?
This vineyard could be a motherlode in the right hands. My hands, friend of Fenorian, not my husband's. I assume you're here to stop him, help Fenorian finish the task, and I'll forgive him for the affront he visited upon me and my family.
I need to get this information to Fenorian.
Make sure you do. I have no intent to serve as a wine glass for my husband.
Ursilia, I suppose I owe you an explanation.
Of course you do, but I don't care. Just talk to your friend and deal with my husband.
All right, if you say so. Lord Valente is well and truly into the auction now, so we have a bit of time. I never expected to find Ursilia here with you, though. What did you discover? And what did she mean by deal with her husband?
Journal.
Interesting. He really spells it out, doesn't he? Alchemically enhanced mushrooms used as fertilizer for alchemically treated grape seeds. And the hunger. I wasn't losing control. It's an effect of the grapes. Well, that's a relief.
So if a non-vampire drinks the wine, then a vampire drains him and gains power?
That does seem to be the general idea. If we allow this to spread, the ramifications will be staggering. Even relatively peaceful vampires might be tempted to start killing out of hand. We need to stop this. What were you and Ursilia discussing?
If I deal with the husband, she'll forgive you for something.
Oh, yes. I do suppose I owe her for that. I'm no hired assassin, but I do make a habit out of disposing of dangerous vampires. We will do what is necessary to end this threat. Nothing more, nothing less. And that begins with destroying the wine.
The winery and alchemical laboratory are downstairs. I found the key.
Head downstairs and scout the area. I'll follow along shortly. I need to try to make things right with Ursilia. And maybe I have something in my alchemy kit to deal with the wine in her system. Just the smell of it makes me hungry.
What did you do?
We were betrothed.
Ah, I was
a
wondering.
marriage arranged by our families. There might have been some affection there, but it was mostly a business agreement. When I became a vampire, I just left. I thought it would be a mercy.
How did you get turned into a vampire?
As much as I trust you and value your company, my friend, that's not a story I feel like sharing. Especially not here and now. Maybe someday. I hope you understand.
She never knew what happened to you?
No. I didn't want to hurt anyone I knew. Ursilia, my family. So I simply left. Eventually, Count Verandis found me and made me part of House Ravenwatch. Rivenspire is a long way from Somerset, and Westfield is farther still. I never expected this.
Are you going to honor her request?
I'm not going to go out of my way to kill Galio, if that's what you're asking. We do need to destroy his operation, though. This elixir turned wine is too dangerous to distribute to aggressive vampire clans. What happens after that is up to him.
I mean, couldn't you hawk it as
Ursilia,
vampire poison?
Before we talk, let me see if I've got anything that will flush the wine from your system.
I'm not drunk, Fenorian. I only had a glass or two.
Okay. Why is this the picture they chose? That's Varen's watch.
You lead while I look around.
What is this horrible statue? Ugh, it's like a monster you see on the edge of an old world map. Hey, Fenarian, there's a trap there. I don't know if you see it.
Valente's journal said he had a coven of vampires. We should expect a fight.
Yeah, the ones he took from Bogvir. Oh, there are traps everywhere. Oh, the servants?
Captives, and apparently under the influence of the wine. Friend, let's speak. These workers must be some of the subjects Galio mentioned in his journal. They're on the verge of turning into blood fiends. I might be able to mix a counteragent with the proper ingredients.
What do you need?
Grape pulp left over from the Vesper Valente wine, wax flower petals to hasten the recovery process, and imperial oak tannins to make the remedy effective topically. Find those items around the winery while I make preparations.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot of wanted posters on the walls. A blade master. Ooh, look at this. Oh, he's got like zombie... Are they like zombified? Yeah, they're blood fiends stomping the grapes. That's interesting way to do things. It's only mildly horrific as a thought. I guess I go down into the caves. Ow. There's another place I saw vampires in this DLC, like out to the west, I think. 'Cause I remember there was... Oh, I remember. It was, Or was it this town? Such. Such had vampires and stuff. Because I remember seeing, Sabercat vampires, which are really out of place for this region. Wax flower petals. So what happens if a vampire drinks his stuff, dies,
good.
and you drink that blood?
I'm starting to worry.
A vampire drinks that blood.
I'm glad you're back. Did you find everything we need?
Yeah.
Once I've brewed the counteragent, pick up the bucket and splash the remedy over our poor patients. It's not the most dignified way to administer medicine, but it works without putting either of you at risk.
Okay. Wait, so what happens if you do this quest as a vampire? Is there a different
And that should do
commentary?
it. You're free to administer the cure. Looks like the effects are already subsiding.
You saved us. Please, you need to stop him.
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out how to talk to you.
Thank you for helping us. Please tell me you're also here to stop Lord Valente.
Yeah, how'd you get in there?
We really thought things were looking up. Lord Valente had such grand ideas for the vineyard and winery. He even asked us to try a new vintage he was working on. We felt so honored. Then we started to get sick, and he locked us down here.
Any idea where to find Lord Valente's laboratory?
Yes, it's right through those doors to the west. He's growing weird mushrooms and has all kinds of alchemical equipment. Destroy his equipment and burn the mushrooms. That should put an end to his vile experiments.
Okay.
We need to destroy that laboratory. You scout ahead while I work on freeing these people. I'll meet you there.
I imagine this will end in a confrontation.
You lead while I look around.
Oh, interesting that there's a dead body here.
I knew there was something wrong about you.
You won't ruin all my hard work!
I wonder if he was genuinely nice before becoming a vampire, or if he was always kind of a jerk.
Open to me!
Oh, one of these situations, I have to deal with enemies while he has an invulnerability stage. Oh, Fenorian, you're really not chipping in.
Must I do everything myself?
I guess Fenorian's just gonna watch. Okay. Well, we dealt with the problem.
This is it. The laboratory. We need to destroy it all.
Look at this.
Let me explain, friend. Valente's alchemical equipment is truly impressive. It's a shame we have to destroy it. But we need to make sure no one else can continue his experiments.
What do we need to do?
These vats turn the mushrooms into a fertilizer for the grapes. Increase the flames under the vats by adjusting the valves. That will increase the pressure. After that, set fire to the mushroom planters. Then get clear before the vats explode.
You seem disappointed we have to destroy it all.
A part of me hates to see valuable equipment go to waste. But we can't allow more of the Vesper Valente to be created. Now come on, let's do this.
Okay.
Turn up the flame valves as high as they'll go. I'll get rid of these research notes.
Oh. I'm not at all familiar with how you make wine. Is any of this accurate?
Now, the mushrooms.
Besides the mushroom stuff?
Well-placed torches should ignite the entire harvest.
Wow, that's really going up real quick.
That's it. Let's get out of here.
Now, what about all the other vampires that we're visiting? There was at least, what, 3 or 4 other, like, coven lords, I guess?
Ursilia, about your husband.
Not now, Fenorian. I have more important matters. As I was saying, I'll compensate double wages for all who remain. With your expertise, we'll revive the traditional methods and be producing excellent wine in no time.
Well, she knows how to make a bad situation good, I guess.
That was excellent work, friend. We destroyed Lord Gallio's laboratory and managed to rescue the workers he experimented on. There might be some ramifications over remaining Vesper Valente, but it won't become the sweeping problem I feared.
We didn't stop the auction.
We didn't have to. Ursilia told me she interrupted the auction and told Lord Gallio in a voice loud enough for all to hear that the Ravenwatch was on the premises. One mention of House Ravenwatch and the invited vampires fled the estate.
So none of them got any of the Vesper Valente?
Perhaps a few bottles were carried off, but none of them had time to load any casks or crates before they fled. I'll track them down eventually. And before I take my leave, I'll make sure the remaining vintage is destroyed.
What happens to the vineyard now?
Ursilia is set on taking control and turning the vineyard and winery into a profitable enterprise. I have no doubt she'll succeed. And speaking of succeeding, your help was invaluable in stopping Lord Gallio. Please, take this with my thanks. I suppose you're off on another adventure now, friend. Know that I appreciate the assistance you provided, and the companionship. If you ever have need of House Ravenwatch, just send the word. We always have time for our friends.
Will you return the Rivenspire now, Fenorian?
Eventually. After I make sure any remnants of Lord Gallio's vile experiments are taken care of here. Then I may check on the auction guests that scattered and see that any absconded bottles of Vesper Valente are dealt with. There's always something.
Isn't there always?
I suppose I should thank you. Even Fenorian came through for me this time. My husband's foul operation is finished, and his coven... is that really what he called it? Will scatter before long. Now begins the hard work of restoring this vineyard.
What was Fen like when you knew him?
Much like he still is. Always a perfect gentleman. Our first moment alone after our families arranged our engagement, I told him to drop any pretense of romantic interest. Oh, how he blushed. Pity those pale cheeks won't ever blush again.
You were fine with marrying someone you didn't love or who didn't love you?
Fine with it. I was relieved. In families as wealthy as ours, marriage isn't like some Breton romance novel. It's business. Love never makes for good business. But I never expected him to just disappear like that. It was rude and hurtful.
Would you have gone through with the marriage if you knew he was a vampire?
Obviously, that change occurred right before the marriage. But probably not. If he hadn't disappeared without a trace, his family would have disowned him. Marrying a pauper would not have been good business. I am pleased he seems happy, though.
Thank you again for saving us down in the winery. I thought if I ever got out of that cage, I'd leave and never come back. But Lady Valente offered quite the sum to stay. Maybe things really will be different under new management.
Unless she's also a vampire. Oh, these guys can all be spoken to?
Thank you, Traveler. I can't thank you enough for getting us out of there.
Florian here seems to be suffering the worst from our ordeal. I think all of us will need time to fully recover. Thank you, stranger. You and your friend really came through for us.
Oh, you recovered.
What Lord Galio was doing. His father must be rolling in his grave. Drovir has agreed to stay on and work for Lady Valente. Destroy these vile grapes and plant our usual seeds. Can the vineyard be salvaged? This one hopes so.
He has such a wrinkly face for a Khajiit. Okay. That was neat. Where are we? Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna come back and roll down. I guess I can just skip to there and go this way. What is with this cave? Nothing of interest happened at that cave when I went to it. But let's go check out that painting. I didn't forget about it. Oh, also the drink I got, I guess? Is it just like a one-time drink? It's taking an awful long time to load the little tiny room. Okay, no, slottable. This. So it's triple recovery. Okay, so I think I can just craft stuff like that. That's not important right now. Paintings. Optimism. Ooh, it's a nice size. Oh, let's put it somewhere in the light. Oh, that's not high. That's not. Oh, no, I guess it is lined up with the. That's a good painting. That's a great painting. What a wonderful painting. Okay. Well, I'd say that's enough for this episode. It's gone on quite a bit, and we saw some interesting stuff. But, yeah. We'll continue the next one. I'll go down that other road, and we'll go from there. So, thanks for joining me. Come back. I'll have the next stuff up real soon. But until then, bye.